Hello everybody, here we are back with James and the giant peach and his travelling friends. You'll remember they have just escaped from the cloud men who were throwing enormous snowballs and hailstones at them, like rocks they were, bouncing off the peach. Ladybird thinks her shell's been cracked. Some of them nearly fell off the side and so on. They've all been hiding in the hole down to take the tunnel that goes down to the centre. So we're on chapter 28. They've come creeping out. James going first because he seems to be the bravest, isn't he? Looking out the hole to see what's where. So one by one, the travellers came out again onto the top of the peach and gazed carefully around. The moon was still shining as brightly as ever, and there was still plenty of huge, shimmering cloud mountains on all sides, but there were no cloud men in sight now. "Oh no, the peach is leaking," shouted the old green grasshopper, peering over the side. "It's full of holes, and the juice is dripping out everywhere." "Well, that does it," cried the earthworm. He's always so cheerful, isn't he? "If the peach is leaking, then we shall surely sink." "Oh, don't be an ass," said the centipede. "We're not in the water now." "Oh, look," shouted the ladybird. "Look, look, look, over there." And everybody swung round to look. Wonder what they can see. In the distance and directly ahead of them, they now saw a most extraordinary sight. It was a kind of arch, a colossal curvy-shaped thing that reached high up into the sky and came down again at both ends. The ends were resting upon a huge, flat cloud that was as big as a desert. "Now what in the world is that?" asked James. "It's a bridge. It's an enormous hoop cut in half. It's a giant horseshoe standing upside down. Stop me if I'm wrong," murmured the centipede, going white in the face. "But might those not be cloud men climbing all over it?" "I don't think they like the cloud men, do you?" There was a dreadful silence. The peach floated closer and closer. "They are cloud men. There are hundreds and thousands, millions." "I don't want to hear about it," shrieked the poor blind earthworm. "I'd rather be on the end of a fish hook and use as bait than come up against those terrible creatures again." "I'd rather be fried alive and eaten by a Mexican," wailed the old green grasshopper. "Please keep quiet," whispered James. "It's our only hope." They crouched very still on top of the peach, staring at the cloud men. The whole surface of the cloud was literally swarming with them, and there were hundreds more up above, climbing about on that monstrous, crazy arch. What it is up in the sky. "What is that thing?" whispered the ladybird. "What are they doing to it?" "I don't care what they're doing to it," the centipede said, scuttling over the tunnel entrance. "I'm not staying up here. Goodbye." But the rest of them were too frightened or too hypnotised by the whole affair to make a move. "Do you know what?" James whispered. "What?" they said. "What?" "That enormous arch. They seem to be painting it. They got pots of paint and big brushes. You look." And he was quite right. The travellers were close enough now to see this was exactly what the cloud men were doing. They all had huge brushes in their hand, and they were splashing the paint onto the great curvy arch in a frenzy of speed, so fast, in fact, that in a few minutes the whole of the arch became covered with the most glorious colours. Red, blues, greens, yellows, purples. Have you guessed what it is? Yes, we see them, don't we? We see them when it's been raining and the sun shines through the raindrops. "It's a rainbow," everybody said at once. "They are making a rainbow." "Oh, isn't it beautiful? Just look at those colours. Centipede," they shouted, "you must come up and see this." They were so enthralled by the beauty and brilliance of the rainbow, they forgot to keep their voices low any longer. The centipede poked his head cautiously out of the tunnel entrance. Well, he said, "I've always wondered how those things were made, but why all the ropes? What are they doing with those ropes?" "Good heavens! They're pushing it off the cloud," cried James. "There it goes. They're lowering it down to the earth with ropes." "And I'll tell you something else," said the centipede rather sharply. If I'm not greatly mistaken, we ourselves are going to bump into it. If they bump into it, what happens if all the cloudmen jump onto the peach? That could be tricky, couldn't it? Well, bless my soul, he's right, the old green grasshopper explained. The rainbow was now dangling in the air below the cloud. The peach was also just below the level of the cloud. It was heading directly towards the rainbow, travelling rather fast. We lost, Miss Spider cried, wringing her feet again. The end has come. I can't stand it, wailed the earthworm. Tell me what's happening. We're going to miss it, shouted the ladybird. No, we're not. Yes, we are. Yes, no, yes. Oh, my heavens. Hold on, everybody, James called out, and suddenly there was a tremendous thud as the peach went crashing into the top of the rainbow. This was followed by an awful splintering noise as the enormous rainbow snapped right across the middle and became two separate pieces. I should think there's going to be some very angry cloudmen. The next thing that happened was extremely unfortunate. The ropes that the cloudmen had been using for lowering the rainbow got tangled up with the silk strings that went up from the peach to the seagulls. The peach was trapped. Panic and pandemonium broke out among the travellers. Among the travellers, and James Henry Trotter, glancing out quickly, saw the faces of 1,000 furious cloudmen peering down at him over the edge of the cloud. The faces had almost no shape at all because of the long white hairs. It sounds like they're sort of almost as if they're made of cloud. I mean, it's very fluffy. There were no noses, no mouths, no ears, no chins. Only the eyes were visible in each face. Two small black eyes glinting malevolently through the head. That's a really good word, isn't it? If you can get that into your writing, malevolently. That means that they don't like you. They want to do you harm. And there is a cloud man coming down by the looks of it. Is he floating? I don't know. And then came the most frightening thing of all. One cloud man, a huge hairy creature who must have been 14 feet at least, so that's at least two of me and a bit, who must have been at least 40 feet tall, suddenly stood up and he made a tremendous leap off the side of the cloud, trying to get to one of the silk strings above the peach. James and his friends saw him go flying through the air above them, his arms outstretched in front of him, reaching for the nearest string, and they saw him grab it and cling to it with his hands and his legs, and then very, very slowly, hand over hand, he began to come down the string. Oh, mercy, help, save us, cried the ladybird. He's coming down to eat us, wailed the old green grasshopper. Jump overboard. Well, then eat the earthworm first, shouted the centipede. It's no good eating me, I'm full of bones like a kipper. Centipede, yelled James, quickly, bite through that string, the one he's coming down on. The centipede, James has always got the right ideas. He's in a panic, he's there. The centipede rushed over to the stem of the peach, took the silk string in his teeth and bit through it, with one snap of his jaws. Immediately, far above them, a single seagull was seen to come away from the rest of the flock and go flying off with a long string trailing round its neck. And clinging desperately to the end of the string, shouting and cursing with fury, was the huge, hairy cloud man. Up and up he went, swinging across the moonlit sky, and James Henry Trotter, watching him with delight, said, My goodness, he must weigh almost nothing at all for one seagull to be able to pull him up like that. He must be all hair and air. So do we think maybe is that what he is? Or little bits of cloud, perhaps? Don't know. The rest of the cloudmen were so flabbergasted, that's not a good word, isn't it? Flabbergasted, at seeing one of their company carried away in this manner, they let go of the ropes they were holding, and then, of course, kaboom, down went the rainbow, both halves together, tumbling towards the earth below. And that freed the peach, which once again began sailing away from that terrible cloud. But the travellers were not in the clear yet. The infuriated cloudmen jumped up and ran after them all along the cloud, pelting them mercilessly with all sorts of hard and horrible objects. Empty paint buckets, paint brushes, step ladders, stools, saucepans, frying pans, rotten eggs, dead rats, bottles of hair oil. Anything those brutes could lay their hands on came raining down upon the peach. One cloud man, taking very careful aim, tipped a gallon of thick purple paint over the edge of the cloud right onto the centipede himself. The centipede screamed with anger. "My legs," he cried, they're all sticking together. I can't walk. My eyelids, I can't see my boots. My boots are ruined. But for the moment, everyone was far too busy dodging the things the cloudmen were throwing to pay any attention to the centipede. The paint is drying, he moaned. It's going hard. I can't move my legs. I can't move anything. "You can still move your mouth," the earthworm said, "and that is a great pity." "James," bawled the centipede, "please help me. Wash off this paint. Scrape it off. Anything." And that's the end of chapter 29. What's going to happen? Will the centipede be purple for the rest of his life? Come back to next time and we'll find out. Bye-bye now. Be happy. Talk soon.